Hello and welcome to Hope Channel Kenya Light in the Family. My name is Kandi Odhiambo and this is Positive Living. And here we take care of your mind, your body and your soul. For the longest time, HIV and AIDS has been a menace. It's incurable, but now it's treatable. Every time you see me, we're teaching you how to live with HIV and AIDS positively. We're teaching you how to live a long life. We're teaching you how to live a productive life. And joining me every time on set is Brenda Kinyangi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Brenda is a case management officer working with Maxwell Adventist Center for Care and Support. And today we'll be talking about transmission. On our last episode, we talked about HIV and AIDS 101, whereby we learned that HIV is the baby to AIDS. And Brenda put it very well that HIV is the baby to AIDS. HIV transitions to AIDS, as basic as that. So today we look at transmission, like I said, and I was looking at this story, Brenda, where there's this lady, campus lady, who infected 90, well, statistics say it was 90, but over 90 male students from her campus and surrounding campuses. And that was in 2016. And then 2017, this other lady from campus infected 324. That is what the numbers say, 324 male students and lecturers and married men, not necessarily from the campus, but they were just on a rampage, a revenge rampage. And it is clear to say sex is the most contributing factor,
Major factor
to pass HIV and AIDS. So not just sex, but penetrative unprotected, yes, penetrative unprotected sex. So apart from that, which other ways do we contract HIV and AIDS?
Actually, there are various major ways whereby somebody can be able to get HIV infection. And one of the way we say is through seminal fluid, which connects to unprotected sex. We have the vaginal fluids, which also points again to sex. We have the breast milk, we have the blood, we have things to do with whereby mother to child, whereby it falls still under breast milk.
So let me say that sex being the major contributor, where does these other factors fall under?
When you look at seminal fluids, it's actually when you have unprotected sex with a partner whom you don't know their HIV status. The reason why I'm putting it as a partner, I want to be a bit gender sensitive, because we have partners whereby you have men who have sex with men, and also we have the lesbian community, whereby there are females who have relationship with a female, and then there's the normal that the society knows, whereby we have sex, a man and a woman having unprotected sex. When you look at breast milk, it falls under a mother who...
let me just stop you there. Let's just finish with sex. You've talked of the seminal fluid and the vaginal fluid. So the people who have anal sex, does that also qualify as a way to transmit HIV and AIDS?
Definitely. That's why you see I've mentioned about men who have sex with men. Anal is one of the ways whereby somebody can, it's a very high way.
High?
Yeah.
Very high?
Yeah. High way whereby you can be able to get HIV infection. Whereby we have the homosexuals. Whereby you get this homosexual or men, let me just be a bit gender sensitive with the language that I bring out. We say men who have sex with men, and basically we have the gay and we have the homosexuals. Homosexual is somebody who has sex with a man, a fellow man, or the same sex partner with the same gender sex partner, then again goes and have a girlfriend and still have sex with a girlfriend, unprotected sex. So that's also a major way whereby somebody can be able to get infected. looking at the lesbian, I don't want to focus so much on female who have sex with female, because their percentage goes down.
Okay.
Goes down compared to men who have sex with men.
Oh, so men who have sex with men are at risk than ladies and just, you know, the normal man-made woman and a man.
Both of them, they fall under the same level. A man who have sex with a female,
Yeah.
unprotected sex, they have a very high rate of getting HIV. They can get infected if they don't know one another's HIV status. A man who is having a relationship with man, because most of the men who have sex with men, they don't keep they don't have a consistent, faithful partner. They keep on changing. So as they keep on changing, that's what actually brings the high rate of HIV coming up.
Okay.
Because anal itself is biologically, it's made to
that's the
not
head.
to be inserted something inside. Actually, it's for removing whatever you consume in your system. It has to come out. So imagine the same anal itself, it's not being meant to be entered something inside. Again, right now an organ enters it. What usually happens there, you get their ruptures. You get there's any small ulceration that is there actually brings about getting HIV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, before I interrupted, we were talking about the breast milk. How does that happen?
Looking back, let's say today, I've been tested, I get I'm HIV positive, and I'm there. I'm still in my fighting my own battles with acceptance. Then I'm there, then I get pregnant. When I get pregnant, it means I'm also bringing a risk to the fetus that is still in me, who's not yet born. So if I don't go to the ANC clinic or PMTCT clinic, whereby we say prevention of mother-to-child transmission, a lady usually goes there so that the baby is being taken care of, and also the woman themselves are being taken care of. If the lady doesn't go through all this, gives birth, decides to give birth also through TBS, that is a traditional birth attendance, gets the baby, it means at the end of the day, there are so many ways the baby might be able to get infected. Through the way we give birth. Also, this lady again will have to breastfeed the child.
Yes.
So more and major way of getting HIV infection.
So the mother is HIV positive and the child is HIV negative. How does the mother breastfeed the child?
That's why you see how I started. I talked first about the clinic. I talked first about getting tested.
Yes.
I started with getting tested. Because today, if I decide to get pregnant, I need to go visit a doctor, visit my gynecologist, and just say, I want to get pregnant. Then I know how my regular checkup, you know how your system is. Because through there, you'll know, by day I've been tested before and I know I'm HIV positive. So I go consult, then I know the right time to get pregnant. I get pregnant, I go to the clinic, I'm protected through the ARV drugs, and also the baby, before I give birth, I'm given medicine for the baby. And imagine a situation whereby a lady, I'm just imagining an adolescent around 15 years, getting pregnant out of curiosity, of trying to, the peer influence, and then she's there, she has gotten pregnant. She doesn't know that the same time she got pregnant, she's also infected. Then she's there, she comes to the clinic almost when giving birth, during her contractions. When she gives birth, without that, without coming to the clinic before, it means the lady will be protected through being given the drugs for the baby. But if she decides to give birth at home, which happens at home, through the TBS, despite I thank God nowadays the TBS are being trained on how to handle all these
situations.
So imagine this lady gives birth like that, then the baby comes, she's not aware she's HIV positive. She starts breastfeeding the baby. the milk itself has a very high concentration of the HIV virus. So the baby, the more the baby keeps on suckling, those are the antibodies of the mother.
So what happens to this milk? Is there a point where this milk changes and is not HIV infected once the mother starts taking these drugs? Oh, that is what happens?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No, I'm just listening to you.
Yeah.
I've not agreed with you. What usually happens, it's good when this mother, being HIV positive and also being pregnant, already is on a ARV drugs or antiretroviral therapy. It's very important because any woman who gets pregnant, even today, when you get pregnant, it's like you are sick. So it means your immune system is not as strong as before.
Anyone else's.
As before.
Okay.
That's why you get even a normal woman who's HIV negative and they get pregnant. There are some supplements the lady is usually being given just to support their immune system and also to support the baby as the baby grows in her womb to become a healthy baby. So I'm saying, even if somebody is HIV positive, it doesn't mean that their milk is clean. The drugs are just there to help the person become stronger. And actually, basically, the drugs are there just to stop the replication of the HIV virus in their system.
So once that is done, the breast milk is safe for the baby?
No.
Because I feel like that point is not as clear to many mothers out there. Because once you get pregnant, you checked, your HIV status is checked. And if you're positive, you start some sort of treatment, the one you're telling us about right now.
Very, very, very true. And actually, the reason why you see I'm trying to catch you, Candy, on this, I know so many people are watching. Others, they don't know. Maybe they have just been there, but they are living in assumption. But what I'm trying to bring out is, if you're HIV positive, all the viewers who are watching, it's good just to go to a clinic or a facility, get closer to a clinician or a doctor who is there, and they can be able to advise you. I don't want to tell somebody just breastfeed, because we don't know how their immune system and their viral load is. Yeah, and their viral load is. But we usually say you breastfeed for around 6 months. The mother should breastfeed for 6 months, still on ARV therapy, and also the baby would have been prevented before being, after being born, there's a syrup, it's called nevirapine, the baby is usually given, and also the mother is given to protect the baby. Now, when it comes to breastfeeding, it depends with the viral load. Because you get some women are being told they're HIV positive, and they're being told, usinyonyeshe kabisa.
What is a viral load?
Viral load basically is how much virus you have in your immune system. It's just simple like that. It's a load. Ni kama mzigo hivi.
So it might vary from person to person.
It varies from person to person. That's why you see I've started initially by saying, when you want to get pregnant, visit a gyna, get close to your doctor, and just the doctor is going to advise you on all this. Because you get sometimes, maybe I'm HIV positive and I'm longing to have a baby. But when I go to my doctor, I'm still on ARV, but the doctor will tell me, wait. Because still, maybe my viral load that I have is so high. If I get pregnant, it means, remember, my immune system already, if the viral load is high, it means my immune system is not as strong. Because the virus are so many in my system, and the ARV drugs are still having time to still replicate themselves to be able to make more cells, like to make a wall in the cells that are already there. So that when the cells become so many, it means now your immune system is strong. Whereby if we tested you for the first time you did a viral load, we got it's around 50. Next time when they do for you the test again, you get it around 10. So what does it mean? It means now the cells have become, it has been boosted by the ARV drugs. Now we are told, Candy, now you can get pregnant.
So is there a point where, now that we are on the viral load, is there a point where I can get tested today and I'm test negative, and then the next, let's say after 3 months, 6 months, I'm tested again, I'm positive. The doctor tells me, come back. I get tested again, I'm negative. Is that the viral load factor? Because there's this lady who sued the doctor for misinterpreting. She thought the doctor was misinterpreting her results, because when she went to the doctor, she's negative again. She goes to the doctor, she's positive. Is it the viral load?
Actually, some things are not realistic. They're truly not realistic. Because if you test today, depending on how you've come at a facility, you've got a provider, PITC person there, or you've got a counselor there who's supposed to test you, they test you.
Who is a PITC?
Is a provider-initiated testing services. So if you come, then you are being tested the first time. There's a process, because that's why we say counseling. There's a bit of pre-counseling, whereby you're being, even you walk together with the person who's there to support you. When you walk together with the person, you come again to reflect on your own life. I'm here today, I'm going to be tested. When was the last time I've exposed myself? Those are the questions that come along. If you've come today and you've exposed yourself just in the morning, you come for testing. To be sincere, the virus itself will not have incubated to be able to be seen by the HIV rapid test that we use. So it needs a bit of time. That's why you get this person, after talking together with the provider now works with the client, and it reaches a point now the provider tells the person, you need again to come back so that you can be able to confirm your HIV status, because you've just exposed yourself less than maybe 4 weeks ago. So when the person comes back and get tested, maybe the person now is reactive. If you are reactive, you are reactive. You are HIV positive, you are HIV positive. When you turn HIV positive, we don't just test you with one test kit and we say that you are HIV positive. You test first, then we again confirm with another second device just to confirm for sure if you are HIV positive. Immediately you are HIV positive. If you are being referred now to start the ARV drugs, when you again go to the clinic, you don't get offended, because even the clinician or the person who's going to attend to you again will have to again to retest you to confirm if you are HIV positive before you are initiated on the ARV.
So
therapy.
let's say this lady went through all those processes. The first test, the second test, recurring. But the case was the first time, negative. The second time, the same thing, positive. So that's why I'm asking if this viral load, you told us that there is a point it can be high, there's a point it can be low. So is it that the tests were not detecting, or?
By then, let me just clear something with you, Candy.
Yes.
The only person who's being done viral load is somebody already who's HIV positive. It's already somebody who's already on therapeutic. That is antiretroviral therapy, already on drugs. That is somebody who's going to be done for the VL. And it's usually done twice in a year for the person, so that even the clinician or the doctor who's there can be able to know if the drugs are working well to help the person. Because at the end of the day, when you come to a clinic, there's something that is called CD4. That is the immune system. It checks your immune system. Maybe you've come, it's below 200. You are being started on the ARV. Next time you come, it's around 500. What does it tell you? It means the cells have multiplied, so the ARV drugs are working so well with you. Yeah. But if along the way, if they are not working well, what will help? Also the VL, the viral load, will be able to access how is the virus in somebody's immune system. Is the person saying that what they are saying is true? Are they not getting reinfections? So that is how it comes along. So it's very vital.
You've mentioned something very interesting, reinfections, but we'll get to that very, very soon. Let's reverse. I think we jumped forward very fast. We were talking about how HIV and AIDS is, HIV the virus, is passed from one person to another. We've talked of this vaginal fluid, the seminal fluid, and we've cleared a lot of things on the breast milk. What are some of the ways?
We also have the blood.
Yes.
Through blood transfusion. We also have things to do with using of sharp objects. You can be able also to get infected. You don't just pick
What sharp object?
things like injectables, like needles, things like razor, things like anything that is injectable. Anything that we usually call in school, in baby's class school, the hazardous.
Hazardous.
Yeah. So it's very important to use what you have alone. I usually tell this to parents. You know, when you have small kids in the house, you know yourself, you know your HIV status, and you know your child is not infected. Where do you put these things?
So if I use a nail cutter to cut my nails, and sometimes we go in too deep and it kind of cuts, you know, this kanyama over here, and someone else uses it, is that person is at risk?
When we look at the nail cutter itself and the exposure of the nail cutter itself, it's very minimal for you to get infected through such a way.
Minimal. But
It's
possible.
Yes. You see how I've put it? Yes. It means at the end of the day, you need to be cautious.
Yes.
You just need to take care of yourself. You don't live in assumption. I usually say when it comes to HIV, it's not experimental. Unasema wacha tu nijaribu, alafu niache hapa ni expose, I'll be okay. No. It's either you prevent yourself or you get infected.
Okay. So viewers, you had it. Just be careful. Whatever you do, be careful. You never know from where you get the HIV virus. Transmission is as easy as ABC. Anyone is at risk. Could be poor, you could be rich, you could be, it doesn't matter if you're the highest or the lowest in society. Let me just use that term. But HIV is real and you can get it. When we get back, we look at who is at risk. Is it a health worker? Is it you? So do not go anywhere. Share with us your views on Hope Channel Kenya Facebook, on Twitter at Hope_Kenya, SMSs through the line, the number running down your screen, and let us know your views. We'll be back shortly. Hi and welcome back to Positive Living. Thank you so much for being with us. For the first part, we're looking at HIV transmission. How do you contract this virus? And Brenda, so kind enough to tell us how you can get HIV. It's simple. Like I said before we went for the break, it's very simple. So now we look at who is at risk. It's a heavy question.
Very heavy.
And people take it lightly.
Very lightly.
Who is at risk?
Everyone is at risk, including me and you, Candy. Including all of us here, even at the cast. All of us are at risk. Because basically when you look at just the definition of HIV, it says human immunodeficiency virus. Whom does it hit? It doesn't hit your cat. It doesn't hit your dog. It doesn't hit your chickens that are there. It hits any person. So long as you're a human being, you can get infected.
Wow. So let's say we have a bar of, or a scale. This person is higher at risk and this person is low at risk. Who are these groups?
Okay, the groups basically, we usually say they are called the MAPs. Most at risk population.
Ah, okay.
And we have people like men who have sex with men. We have the truck drivers. We have the fishermen. We have sex workers. They're also at a greater risk of getting infected. Because when you try to connect, when you see basically how we had the show before, I basically just touch on the men who have sex with men community. And basically when you look at how these people move with partners one after the other, definitely they're at a higher risk of getting HIV and also other OIs, that is opportunistic infections that come along. When you look at the fishermen, you go back there and you just picturize what usually happens when it comes to the fishermen.
What happens?
It's called it's like a barter trade.
Okay.
I'm a woman who's I'm a fishmonger in the market, and I want to get the best fish. So what do I do to the fishermen? I come. For me to get the best, getting the best fish, I have a relationship with this fisherman. And this fisherman doesn't have only me as a partner.
He
also
has several partners.
Yes. And they're having unprotected sex. When you look at the truck drivers, what usually happens with them? They travel a lot. They travel a lot. From all the centers they usually stand, we have sex workers also around there.
Yeah.
So both of them, they are connecting to one another. So when they meet, they also have their wives and their children back at home.
Yeah.
So when they go back at home, still you look at the tree, how it's going, it's really so sad. But if you are cautious enough, we can be able to bring HIV down on its knees. When you look at the sex workers themselves,
yes,
you see it's a way of earning or getting income for their everyday sustenance.
Yeah.
They have clients, they usually say they have clients who can be able to agree to offer to have with them sex which is protected, and if it's protected, has a lower rate of money.
Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody decides to have unprotected sex with them, it means you'll have to pay more. So sex workers are also at risk of getting HIV infection.
So talking on people who are at most risk from getting the infection, I am a person living with HIV and AIDS, and it happens that let's use sex. It is the most contributing factor. I have sex, unprotected sex, with another person living with HIV and AIDS. And then I understand reinfection occurs. How dangerous is this?
It's not dangerous, but we say when you are on the ART, that is the ARV therapy or antiretroviral drugs, it's very important for you just to maintain the HIV strain that you have in your system.
Or, you know, I could be like, okay, I'm living with HIV and AIDS, so I already have the virus. So what? Let me just, you know, let me live life. And I have unprotected sex with another person living with HIV and AIDS. Yeah.
Basically, it's risky. Somebody is just like bringing their... I don't want to basically say that when you have HIV, you are going to die. But all of us are going to die. Whether you have HIV or you are HIV negative or positive, at the end of the day, all of us, we are going to die. But what I'm trying to bring the point home is this. If you find out today you are HIV positive, we usually encourage, try to have protected sex. Because the person that you are thinking that you're going to infect them with HIV, you might be surprised. They also have their own HIV virus.
Yeah.
What do I mean? I mean, all of us, we are human beings, and we come from different backgrounds, and we have different behavior. The way I like to cook my gali candy, the way you cook your gali, maybe me, I do my gali with cold water, and it's just okay with me, and you have to do it with hot water. And what usually happens is the same thing with the virus. The virus has different kind of behavior. That's why you get somebody who tells you, I've been tested 20 years ago, and you look at them.
Oh, the
like,
virus has a personality of its own.
I don't it has its own behavior. Because you get somebody maybe has lived with it for 20 years, and you cannot imagine. They are so healthy, and they've had babies, and they've grown, and they are still living. They are thinking they are going to die, but they are still there. And somebody who has just gotten recently to know they're HIV positive 2 years back, and it's really weighing down on them. Basically, what I'm trying to say, if you know that today you are HIV positive, don't have the mentality unaenda kusambaza. You might go to sambaza upate unasambaziwa, even the worst kind of strain. That
like the very sad stories I shared earlier. So And away from that, I am on reinfection. I am a person living with HIV and AIDS. My partner is HIV negative, and we want to have a baby. How do we have this baby without myself as a person living with HIV not transmitting the infection to you, the negative?
Lovely, that's a good question. Actually, we usually refer them to as discordant couples, whereby one is infected and another one is not infected. Having a baby for this couple is possible.
It's possible?
Possible, with capital P, possible. All they have to do is, first of all, go to their clinician or the doctor and say, by the way, we desire to have a baby. Looking at their discordant result, the doctor is going to go through whatever I was trying to tell you earlier on in the show. We have the CD4 count and we have the viral load count that is going to be done to access all this. Then the doctor will be able to give a go-ahead on the way for and the right time for them to meet and do this. When I basically talk about this, there's a drug right now that has come up. It's called the PrEP.
So Brenda, what is PrEP?
PrEP basically is called before. Pre, it's before. It's before, it's a prophylaxis.
What is a prophylaxis?
Prophylaxis is part of ARV.
Okay.
It's part of just ARV drugs or ARV therapy, whereby somebody is being initiated to start off. Like right now, according to the Ministry of Health, it usually focuses on female sex workers. Some of them are being already on PrEP itself. Also, PrEP itself can be able to be given to a discordant couples.
Okay.
When you look at how are they going to have a baby.
Yeah, I'm HIV positive, you're HIV negative, and you want a baby.
Yeah. You're trying to imagine if they meet, what will happen to the HIV negative person. So we need to maintain the negative person to continue to become as negative as forever. So the option for them will be now the PrEP. It's called the before prophylaxis. Pre-exposure.
Pre-exposure prophylaxis. PrEP. And here, when somebody is being initiated, they don't start having sex immediately as they've started the drugs. Okay.
We give it a grace period of 7 days or 1 week for the person to take drugs each and every day.
What happens if you miss a day?
If you miss a day, it means you've lowered the rate for it to protect you not to get infected.
So I have to start over?
If you have exposed yourself, it means you have exposed yourself. So when you come back, again, you'll be taken through counseling. We call it adherence counseling, so that we can be able to advise you now on the way forward. I won't want to talk so much detail on this because I know some of our viewers are watching and they would really love to get PrEP. It is available and they can get them at some of specified government facilities are doing this. And you can just be able to refer them, any person who is willing or going through the situation that you're talking right now.
So it's not a drug you get over the counter? No.
Definitely no. It's good
like
to
a regular Panadol.
Actually, they're there because ARV, you get some places they are being sold. But I usually say, why should you buy something that is being offered for free? Why buy TB drugs and they are being offered for free? Why buy the ARV drugs and they be offered for free? You just visit a government facility and you'll get all the support that you require.
So on the HIV virus, for how long does it live outside the human body, or can it even survive outside the human body? For instance, we were talking about the injectables. I've injected myself. I'm a drug user. I've injected myself. I have HIV and AIDS. The syringe I used, put it on the table. Tuone mtu anatumia hiyo syringe. You know, for how long will that virus live on that tip before I use it and I'm at risk of getting the virus?
Thank you, Candy, for bringing that up. Even I had forgotten. The IDU, that is the injectable drug users, they're also under the MAPS. the most at-risk population. That's why we usually advise them, use your own needle. Use your own needle. That's why even right now the needles have become at a very affordable rate.
Okay.
Because this is happening within their community, whereby I'm a drug user and you're also a drug user, and today I don't have any cash with me to be able just to sustain my system, because I'm really going down, I'm shaking, I'm losing myself out of control, whereby you get somebody, you inject yourself, and you remove with the syringe a bit of your blood, then I inject myself with the blood. Because your blood already has the cocaine or the hard drugs that you're using, and I need it in my system. So you're trying to discourage them on using the same needles, that is the injectables, and try to use them alone. When you come to how much time the virus will survive, you see, I'm trying to avoid it, because I want to go back and say this: HIV is not experimental. This is not a lab. You try.
Okay, it's not a lab, but we're just curious. There's someone at home who's wondering, this disease, does it just live and regenerate? Does it need a host to, you know what I'm saying, regenerate? Or ikikatu hapo kwa hiyo kawembe or whatever?
Actually, so long as it's exposed, the cells they cannot survive without the host. Okay,
it's not experimental, but she's going to tell us. She has to tell us. I usually love answering this question with the example of porridge. Okay, let's hear it. If the porridge is very hot from the sphoria, you put it in a cup. You wait for the porridge to cool down. Then you come after some, like 2 hours, you take the porridge. You start taking the porridge. When you take the porridge, the top layer part of it, it's very cold. But as you continue to take the porridge, as you continue to enjoy yourself, within that porridge, there's a place that it's very hot. So that's why I usually say HIV is not experimental. Just look on the ways you can be able to get infected, and you try to avoid them. Wow. So exposure, so long as it's outside, it's exposed on the air, the cells are there, it will die. But you cannot get blood unasema, because this blood has dried. There's no problem. I have a cut under my foot, let me not put shoes and step on it. Or I have a cut, let me just take a duster and wipe this thing off. We don't want that. We just want you to protect yourself. That's why there are protective garments around. We have the gloves, we have the lab coat, we have so many things to protect ourselves. Let's just follow on the right way. You've answered. Thank you so much for the porridge demonstration. I think we've gotten it clearly. We've talked about the PrEP. What is PEP? I hear so many people talking about PEP. Every time you hear PrEP, it's accompanied with PEP. Yeah. Actually, PEP is after. PrEP, pre, before. Now this one is post. Post exposure prophylaxis. After. After the incident, whereby you get somebody who has been defiled, who has been raped, who has been sodomized, they come to a facility after dealing with now the police case and all that. So they come to the facility, we actually initiate PEP to them. What usually happens with PEP is just the same thing that PrEP does. It's still part of the family of ARV, and it actually helps the person to avoid getting infected by a rate of 80%. 80%? That's high. Yes, it's high. First of all, when we initiate the PEP itself, the person has to undergo through an HIV test. Because you might have been raped, you come, and you're already HIV positive. So PEP won't help you. But we test you, get your HIV negative, definitely you need PEP immediately after 72 hours. You need to be initiated. But as a counselor, don't you feel like there's a point where ourselves as just human beings can abuse these drugs? Because I understand some countries in the world have not yet initiated these drugs. Yeah. So why is that reluctancy?
Actually, what usually happens, I don't want to disagree with you. I agree. Because even some of the clients, I don't want to mention name, but some of the patients who are already on the ARV drugs or antiretroviral therapy, they are doing business with their drugs. But right now, according to the system that has been put, it's a bit it has some quality in it, whereby if somebody is trying to do this, at the end of the day, they're the persons who are going to lose.
Okay.
So basically, PEP is there for us. Today, God forbid, you might walk out from here and something just happens to you and you'll have to be initiated with PEP.
Or let's say PrEP. For instance, I am going to have unprotected, I've just decided today I'm going to have unprotected sex. I don't know if this person is HIV positive or negative, but let me just go on this rampage. And I take the PrEP just to like avoid getting HIV. That sort of abuse, what can you tell such a person?
Some of these things are just beyond us. Some of these things are just beyond us, and as a counselor, practicing counselor, we usually the main thing is we usually put our values aside, because if I start bringing out my values on board, I won't be able to work and offer the quality of services that I'm supposed to do as a practicing counselor. We give up this PrEP to female sex workers, and you know very well what they are going to do. And you know it's part, they say ini kazi yangu. You tell them do this, they don't want. They say that giving out their bodies,
that's the job.
Aiwachokeshi. It's just fun, and they have their money, and that is part of their life. So what we are trying to say here is the PrEP is there to help. We have even people who are going through a lot. When you look at the discordant couples, they need the PrEP to move on with their life at a very comfortable pace. When you look at a health worker needs the PrEP. I might be attending to an HIV positive person, and I just have an accident. I will be initiated on PEP. We have somebody, you might walk today, you are sodomized, you are defiled, you are raped. At the end of the day, you need the PEP. If you decide you yourself, you come, you lie. That I'm being defiled. I mean, but there's examination. But there's examination. You cannot lie. There's somewhere a lie doesn't go a long way. It doesn't flow. There's somewhere you'll be caught. And even if you're trying to sell your drugs, you as an HIV positive person, at the end of the day you lose, because you go back to the facility, they decide to remove you from the system, and right now everything has become digital. So you go, even you decide to move to Nairobi, you go to another county, they'll still see that the kind of history you have, and you won't be supported. And at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to lose, because your immune system will go down, and you're just bringing yourself closer to the mother of it all, which is AIDS.
It's very true. So at the end of it, this PrEP and the PEP is a preventive measure. It's a preventive measure to curb transmission. On the next episode, we look at prevention. Now we know transmission, so how do we prevent it? How do we prevent HIV and AIDS? I've been your host, Kandio Diambo, and Brenda Kinyangi from Adventist Center for Care and Support will join you every single time you see us. It's HIV and AIDS, and you'll be living long, productive lives with this virus. There was a time it was thought that Africa would be extinct since the inception of HIV and AIDS. And you know, something that people do not understand well, it causes excitement and uncertainty. And back then, they thought Africa would be extinct. But look at us now. We're still here, we're still standing strong, and technology has been doing wonderful things for us. So it might not have a cure, but it's treatable. I will keep saying, and I will say, HIV is not a death sentence. So join me next time keep interacting with us on our social media pages. That is on Facebook, Hope Channel Kenya, on Twitter at Hope_Kenya. SMSs to the line running down your screen. Let us know your views. Let us know what you think. Let us know your questions and let us answer them. Until next time, goodbye.